The future of Johnston schools in the hands of voters in that town as a $215 million bond is on the ballot in today's special election. The bond would pay for the construction of new buildings and major improvements to existing ones. 12 News reporter Anita Buffoni joins us now live from Johnston with what voters are saying today. Anita?
Well, Mike, schools like this one at Johnston High, they were built decades ago and haven't had any upgrades since. But this new school bond would change that, allowing for significant upgrades to this school and others and the construction of new ones. Johnston residents get to decide whether the town will finance school upgrades, including the construction of a new one.
I think it'd be a good environment for the children, although I don't have any. It's still part of the taxes that we have to pay, so we better put out good people so they'll have good futures.
The single question on the ballot carries a lot of weight, or in this case dollars, $215 million to be exact. The state will reimburse the town for 56% of it, or about $120 million, paid for from previous statewide school bonds. Johnston will end up paying for about $94 million.
Obviously, we got a really good deal with Amazon and other businesses, not just Amazon, and that technically there will be no tax increase.
Some of the town schools are more than 100 years old.
Physically, I think they need to be upgraded, but also you're going to get growth coming into the town, slow but surely.
If passed, the bond would pay for the transformation of an existing elementary school into an early childhood center. All town elementary schools will be consolidated into one brand new building, and significant upgrades to Ferry Middle and Johnston High Schools. Mayor Policina is optimistic the bond will get approved by town voters.
If I had to take a bet, I'm not a betting person, but I'd bet you a hamburger at one of the local hamburger shops that it's going to pass, absolutely.
Now, I've been to several polling locations today, and the turnout is light compared to major elections naturally. And if you are a town resident and need to vote, the polls close tonight at 8 o'clock. In Johnston, I'm Anita Buffoni, 12 News.
Our local election headquarters also in Johnston tonight, where people are voting on a multi-million-dollar bond question that could transform the town schools. 12 News reporter Anita Buffoni joins us now live from Johnston with what voters have been telling her today. Anita?
Well, Mike, I can tell you from the polling locations that I've been to, it's been a lighter turnout than major elections normally, but there has been residents coming out and casting their ballots, and it's schools like this one at Johnston High that will benefit if the bond is passed. There's just one question on the ballot. Should the town of Johnston authorize a $215 million bond to fund new and improved schools?
I think it's certainly needed, because if you look at the high school, I graduated here in '73, it's over 50 years old, and a lot of the other town schools really need renovation as well.
The bond would pay for the transformation of an existing elementary school into an early childhood center. All town elementary schools will be consolidated into one brand new building, and significant upgrades to Ferry Middle and Johnston High Schools.
I'm sure there's going to be technology upgrades that they're going to have to anticipate 5, 10, 20 years down the road.
The state will reimburse the town for roughly 56% of the costs, about $120 million, paid for from past statewide school bonds, leaving Johnston on the hook for about $94 million.
The money that we're getting from the growth and development from the businesses we have will pay for the bond with no problem at all.
Those new businesses include the Amazon distribution facility that's in the works off Route 6 in town.
That's what we've been waiting for, the businesses to step up to their tax liability.
That means no tax increases for Johnston residents. Now, the mayor says one option to repurpose those elementary schools if they are consolidated into a new building would be possibly veterans housing. Now, if you're a town resident and you haven't voted yet, there's still time. The polls close tonight at 8 o'clock. In Johnston, I'm Anita Buffoni, 12 News.